You know that feeling when you read a product description, see the glossy photos, and start picturing that perfect setup only to open the box and realize it doesn't fit your rack, the outlets aren't where you need them, or the power you thought you'd have just isn't enough for the real workload? I've been there. A lot of UPS units look good on paper, but when you try to run a small server room or a home office with a bunch of monitors, a NAS, and maybe a couple of audio interfaces, the disappointment can be real. That's why today I'm digging into the EATON 9PX 3000VA 2700W online double conversion UPS and trying to figure out who actually benefits from it and who might be better off spending that money elsewhere. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about why a double conversion UPS matters. In a double conversion model, the incoming AC is turned into DC, then back into clean AC. The result is virtually zero voltage fluctuations, which is vital if you're feeding sensitive equipment like a workstation with a high-end graphics card or a lab-grade oscillator. That's the promise EATON is making with the 9PX series. The 3000VA rating translates to 2700W of continuous power, so on paper it should handle most mid-range server configurations without breaking a sweat. But the real question is how that plays out in a typical office or small business environment. I've chatted with a few IT managers who run racks of 1U and 2U servers, and the consensus is that the 9PX's 6 IEC-C13 outlets, the 520R type, are a solid fit for server-grade power cords. The layout of the receptacles means you can plug in two small form-factor PCs, a network switch, and a UPC-enabled monitor without needing a bunch of extension cords. That saves desk space and reduces trip hazards, something you actually notice day to day. On the flip side, the L530P input plug is a bit of a double-edged sword. It's a 30-amp connector, which is great if you have a dedicated 120V circuit that can supply the full 2700W load. However, many homes and older office spaces only have 20-amp circuits, so you either have to upgrade the breaker or run a separate dedicated line. If you miss that detail, you'll end up with a UPS that's constantly throttling back, and you'll hear the alarm chirp every time you add another device. For a user without easy access to an electrician, that hidden cost can be a deal breaker. Another practical element is the display and interface. The 9PX comes with a bright LCD that shows input voltage, battery charge, load percentage, and estimated runtime. In my testing using a workstation, a 27-inch monitor, a UPS-protected external hard drive, and a small network switch, we hit about 85% load on a fully charged battery. The screen read roughly 15 minutes of runtime left, which is exactly what EATON advertises for that load level. That gives you a clear window to safely shut down and avoid data loss. The downside is that the menu navigation is a bit menu-driven. You have to press several buttons to get to the battery test mode, and the default settings hide some of the deeper diagnostics. If you're a power nerd who likes to tweak charging curves, you'll find the interface a little clunky compared to some competing models that sport a touchscreen. Now, who should actually buy this unit? If you run a small server closet with 2 or 3 rack-mount servers, need to protect both the servers and the networking equipment, and you have a dedicated 30-amp circuit, the EATON 9PX 3000VA is a solid match. Its double conversion topology ensures that even the tiniest voltage dip won't affect your hardware, and the 6 IEC outlets let you wire everything directly without scrambling for adapters. It also shines for creative professionals, think video editors or 3D artists who have a workstation that draws close to 500W, a high-resolution monitor, and perhaps an external audio interface that complains about power noise. The clean sine wave from the 9PX keeps those peripherals happy and avoids the hum that can creep in with cheaper line interactive UPS units. Conversely, if you're a typical home user who just wants to keep a desktop PC and a router running during a power outage, you're probably overpaying for this machine. A 1500VA line interactive UPS would cover that scenario with a lot less hassle and at a lower price point. The same goes for people who don't have the ability to install a 30-amp circuit. The need for a dedicated line adds an extra expense that can outweigh the benefits of double conversion for a modest load. Also, if you're looking for a UPS that can power a whole office with multiple large monitors, printers, and a coffee maker, this unit will run into its 2700W ceiling pretty quickly. You'd have to offload some devices or accept a very short battery runtime, which defeats the purpose of buying a high-capacity UPS in the first place. Let's touch on the battery life and replacement cost, something that often gets glossed over in the marketing copy. EATON's battery packs.